Judge Walter Grayson thought he was about to sentence just another clueless teenager. But within minutes, the young defendant began dismantling the prosecution's case, like a seasoned lawyer. The air inside the Los Angeles County Courthouse was heavy with tension, almost suffocating. Every seat in the gallery was filled, a low hum of curiosity buzzing through the spectators. It was supposed to be a routine hearing, another check mark on the docket, but it had already taken a strange turn. The defendant's table looked oversized beside the young man standing next to it. Hands in his pockets, chin raised just enough to show defiance, but not arrogance. His name was Jalen Dawson, just 19 years old, facing charges of grand theft auto and resisting arrest. Serious charges. But the way Judge Grayson was looking at him, you'd think the real crime was daring to be young and bold in a courtroom run by tradition. Grayson leaned back in his chair, fingers drumming against the polished mahogany of his desk. His glasses slipped to the bridge of his nose as he peered down at Jalen. "You think you're some kind of legal expert?" he said, dry amusement in his voice. "This isn't a debate club, kid." Laughter echoed around the courtroom. The bailiff, the stenographer, even the prosecutor chuckled. They all saw the same thing, a cocky teen out of his depth. Jalen didn't laugh. He didn't blink. He had spent too long preparing for this, not this moment exactly, but moments like it, where words were weapons and truth was buried beneath performance. While other kids obsessed over basketball stats, he obsessed over trial transcripts. While friends played video games, Jalen replayed mock trials in his head. His mother, Denise Dawson, had worked as a paralegal for 2 decades. Every night, she came home with stories about lawyers who cut corners and judges who picked favorites. Jalen listened. He learned. By 14, he could pick apart a courtroom strategy better than most law students. None of that mattered to Judge Grayson. To him, Jalen was just another defendant in an orange jumpsuit. "Let's make this quick," Grayson muttered, flipping through the case file. "I've got a golf game at 2. The audience laughed again, but this time Jalen smiled, just a little. The judge had made his first mistake. He underestimated someone who knew exactly what he was doing. The prosecutor, Mitchell Carrington, rose to his feet. Immaculate suit, smooth voice, the kind of man who delivered the same speech 100 times and didn't even need notes anymore. "Your Honor, the state will prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that the defendant, Jalen Dawson, was caught red-handed inside a stolen 2022 Audi A6. The vehicle was reported missing earlier that day. Officers pursued the suspect through downtown, where he attempted to flee. Fingerprints on the wheel, matching the defendant's. The facts are indisputable." Carrington's words hit like a hammer, crisp and practiced. Judge Grayson glanced at Jalen and nodded. "Go on." "The defense," Carrington said, now addressing the jury, "will likely suggest this is a misunderstanding. That Mr. Dawson is a victim of mistaken identity or wrong place, wrong time. But let's be real. What kind of innocent man runs from the police?" The tension was thick enough to slice. Jalen didn't flinch. He listened, calculated, waited. Carrington continued, presenting Officer Daniel Ruiz's testimony. Ruiz personally saw the defendant behind the wheel before the chase. The arrest was by the book. Grayson leaned forward and gave a satisfied nod. "Sounds straightforward to me." But Jalen had studied enough trials to know nothing was ever as clean as it seemed. Grayson tapped the gavel. "Let's hear the defense." Lisa Thornton, A public defender who had barely spoken since the hearing began stood hesitantly. "Your Honor, my client—" But Jalen gently placed a hand on her arm. She paused, looked at him, then slowly sat down. "I'll be representing myself, Your Honor," Jalen said clearly. Gasps spread through the courtroom. Grayson raised an eyebrow. "You'll what?" "I'll be defending myself." Even Carrington laughed out loud. "This should be entertaining." But no one laughed when Jalen took his first confident step toward the bench. He stood tall, hands now free of his pockets, voice steady. "Before I begin, I'd like to confirm something with the prosecution." Carrington crossed his arms. "Go ahead." "You stated Officer Ruiz personally witnessed me behind the wheel, correct?" "That's right." "And that's documented in his official report?" "Of course." Jalen turned to Grayson. "Then I move to dismiss that testimony." Grayson blinked. "On what grounds?" Jalen stepped forward. "Because Officer Ruiz never saw me in that car. He wasn't even on duty when the chase began." A wave of silence hit the courtroom. Carrington's smile faltered. "I request access to Officer Ruiz's GPS logs for that night," Jalen continued. "If his report is true, it'll match his location history. But I have a feeling it won't." Grayson turned to Carrington. "Counselor?" Carrington hesitated. Too long. The jury noticed. The judge noticed. Jalen noticed. "If you're confident in your case," Jalen said, "there should be no objection to verifying one detail." Grayson leaned back slowly, studying the young man with new eyes. Finally, he turned back to Carrington. "Does the prosecution object?" Carrington clenched his jaw. "No objections, Your Honor." And just like that, the room shifted. Because it no longer felt like a case of a reckless teen caught in a crime. It felt like something else entirely, a trap maybe. One that was never meant for Jalen, but built by him, one detail at a time.